Hello, everyone. This is Cars Casually. We are back. I just told a joke, and we're going to see how people can keep their faces straight. Okay, it wasn't a joke, by the way. It really, really happened.
I love.
Okay, this is
Been
Cars
watching too
Casually.
much.
As you may not know, but we started this around a year ago, basically as a way to kind of chat, kind of get our office vibe going when we were not with each other. And it just kind of took off from there. It did the one thing we've been trying to do for years, which is bring people into our conversations, which always happens when we're at the track or at a car meet or at a car show, or if people show up in our office, we end up talking for 4 hours and not getting any work done. That's what happened. So over this year, we have learned a lot and we have grown a lot. And one of the things that we have found is that we've all learned specific little things that we haven't shared with people, and that is detrimental. So today we want to share our experiences during this very, very challenging year. And I think everyone has something they can add that other people will find useful. And that's all we are doing today. So, there, it's just not about cars. This is about you guys. This is about us. This is about the people we love. We're going to start with the person we relied on, which was G, because G uh, is very used to working at home. And we started out talking to him about how to set up the work systems. And it turns out that we relied on him more and more in terms of how to handle the challenges that we face emotionally, in terms of being with or not with people. So we've all our thoughts have changed. They've changed from how do we work to how do we survive, how do we communicate. And so we're going to start with G, who has been very, very useful for us across the board on all of this. Gerard, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, good evening, good whatever. Yeah, no, it depends on what time you're watching. Anyway, yeah, as Carl said,
True.
I've been working from home ever since I graduated from college back in the year 1990. Never mind. Anyway, no, but seriously, because it's due to my health condition. I underwent a kidney transplant in 1991. And because of this, uh, well, the kidney disease itself, plus my need to take they're called immunosuppressant drugs to avoid the kidney from being rejected by the body. The downside or the side effect is that my immune system is, well, suppressed. So I'm very susceptible to the common cold, even the common cold. It may, for example, it happened already. Like back in college, I caught a cold from one of my classmates. For her, it was a very strong cold, but for me, it ended up being flu and bronchitis, and I was out for like a month. So that long story short, I've chosen to do my work remotely, and it came at a time when the internet back then was still dial up, as in, not as fast.
I miss that tone though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that one,
know.
that one. So ISP Bonanza. So there, yeah. So so it was hard, but the challenge was really how to make it work. Because um, beyond the work setup, even before that, the first 3 months of my um, after my transplant, I was just in my bedroom. As in, I couldn't really go out. The only time I'd go out was to go to the doctor or um, to the garden outside, or probably we'd go for a drive. But we don't go down,
Yeah.
from the
Yep.
car. So it's really that tough. As in, and that was the time when there was no internet. This was 1991, no internet. My companions back then were, um, of course, my rosary, and then Betamax, just to show my age.
I still
Do-
remember that. I still remember
yeah,
that.
Dolphy movies on Channel 9, and a whole bunch of car and driver magazines. So it's basically the whole, it taught me how to cope. And over the years, as Carl said, fast forward to last year when everyone had to adapt to pretty much my lifestyle.
Yeah,
Uh, I guess it's a matter of adapting to the situation, just accepting your situation, because it's not it was never easy, to be honest. Uh, I spent a lot of, okay, sleepless and nights, just crying and everything, but eventually, you tend to accept it and just make the best of it. And
yeah,
hopefully, I guess that's why I joined C, and I get to hopefully help you guys adapt, and hopefully we can also help our viewers cope with the situation now. So
yeah.
there, yeah,
It's a really tough time for everyone. But it's
yes,
like
yes.
you weren't a immigrant of the situation.
Well,
Like you were a
yes,
native of the situation.
yes, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I guess we all went through the same. Why is this happening to me? Why do I have to be stuck here? But then
Yeah,
again, the thing, you just, I guess, okay, here's one way to go about it. You always remember that there's a benefit behind, because, like, at first, I felt that, why do I have to be stuck in the room? But then again, after, the situation, my situation sort of normalized in the sense that I could go to school and just, with you go out, but you have you know your limits. So basically, you just really have to tell yourself that this is for the, if I don't stay home, I could get sick and even worse. So with everyone now, I guess it's the same situation. You have a choice. You can either go out and get contaminated, or just be careful and limit your movement.
yeah. But I'm seeing like even in a non-pandemic scenario that it really can get to you as a like because I think
Yes,
human beings
yes.
are social beings,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. True, true.
So even seeing in a non-pandemic situation, like being stuck in the room, it really gets to
Yes,
like
that's
the
why
human, anyone.
I actually relied a lot on the landline back then. There were no cell phones. I mean, there were, but they weren't as
Expensive and big.
commonplace. Yes,
These big,
big and
huge things.
expensive. So the landline really was a big help. And
I hope people still remember what the landline looks like.
those phones, yeah. So
Yeah,
there, it's a matter of, it's not easy, but it's a matter of coping. And as
yeah,
Carl said, we all need our support system. Mine was
yeah,
my family, my close friends, and for those of you who are religious, prayer really helps a lot.
mm,
It gives you strength.
yeah,
So there.
Right. Okay. Well, Gerard was very helpful to us over
yep.
this last year. Before that, definitely, but especially for this year, he brought us insight. He brought us a view that we didn't have, uh, uh, and we thank him for that. Now, everyone here in our little group is in a different situation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out. I am a father. I have two teenage kids. And uh, what I wish was that I caught the effects of this pandemic on the kids earlier than I did. Uh, it's extremely hard on the kids, and yet at that age, they have no way of processing or explaining how they feel.
Yeah,
So,
Yes,
from
true.
my point of view, as tough as this may be for any other adults, and it's not just kids, it's not just look out for everybody around you. You do not know where. they are on their breaking point level, and there will be, and there is a breaking point. There are, as an example, there are kids who were great at school who suddenly just dropped.
By
Uh,
the,
Yeah.
by the way,
you
speaking
know,
of kids, if I may, um,
mhm.
perspective lang. I was 19 at the time. So, just
That's
Yeah.
barely,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
So,
What more for
all
the
the more
kids,
the
no?
kids. Yeah, all the
Yeah.
more for
yeah.
the kids. Yeah, yeah.
Well, a teenager that no, you were a
I was a
teenager when that
teenager.
happened.
Yes,
So
it's tough.
no,
It
it's
was
that's
tough.
that's that's very, I mean,
I just
uh,
um, s- entered college, and you wanted to get out, but you couldn't. So,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
no, so to me, the fact that you've been able to soldier through this is just amazing to me, and I think
Thank
it's a
you.
lesson we all need to learn. One of the things that I found that, and I had said this, I really wish I had learned this, and everyone I tell this to wishes they had learned it earlier, was that when the kids are in school, they would take a break for lunch, and then they would eat or whatever. And then there was one teacher who told me that what they did in their school was they instituted, you have to have lunch online,
Mhm.
but you don't talk about class.
Well,
You
but
just
that's the
talk to
that's
your
the
Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
but that's the weird thing for me. Like I get what they're trying to do, but what's hard is when, like, what I learned from this experience was when the work from home scenario, it's hard to end up trying to split the two. Like I know the intention, but it's really tough to split the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
okay. The way I see it, I'll put it this way: every single teacher I told this to, they said, "I wish we had learned that earlier,"
Yeah.
because what they're facing now is these kids, they don't have the contact with their friends, they don't have the contact with their support group, they don't have any of the normalcy that they had, and it's not just their close friends. There's an article recently that said, we're just so disjointed. Even the people we normally see, the guards in the office building, right? The
Yeah.
person that we say hello to every single morning of our lives suddenly disappeared.
Yeah.
It's little things, and so to me, what I want to share mainly is that, that thing about the I never would have thought it, the thing about the kids having lunch with their classmates, which is exactly what they would have done anyway. So that would have been a way to put normalcy back into their
Yeah.
system. And the teachers that have tried it have said, it really worked. They drew out the kids that were
That's good.
dropping out. So there, those are my thoughts. And other than that, is just really please watch out for people around you. Everyone's at a breaking point, and the ones that are the
How about you,
cheeriest are the
Francis?
ones who
So
are not. Yeah, Francis, what's your what's
yeah.
your
What's because you also have
Yeah.
teenagers, right? Kid?
Yeah. I have one teenage kid. Fortunately, he's just like most kids. They're hooked on the internet all the way. So, and he has his circle of friends, wherein
That's good.
sometimes I eavesdrop in his room. They're always talking. So I think that's a
Sometimes
good
lang,
thing.
sometimes, please.
Sometimes
Sometimes
lang.
lang naman,
Guys,
Sometimes.
because
sometimes.
Well,
sometimes
well,
I hear
now he
them,
knows that you
because
do.
sometimes I hear them, laughing out loud. So I
That's
can't help
good.
but over it, just like eavesdrop lang naman. But it's a good thing that they're communicating with each other. I mean, it
Yeah.
goes beyond after school even. For me, that's okay because it gets his mind off things with the
Yeah.
pandemic and everything. Cannot
Yep.
get out, all of the normalcy that he's used to. It's very different nowadays. So I guess that's his. Aside from us, his parents, his other support group would be his friends, which is he's in close contact because they have
That's
school every
good.
day naman. So that's a good thing. Aside from his other
But
hobbies also.
but speaking of that, so it's like he has established friends because he's a teenager. Chris, how about
Yeah.
you?
To your
Na
daughter.
yeah, your daughter.
Yeah. Well, I'm uh, in a lot of ways I've come to see the benefits, I guess, because I have a 2-year old, and because of that I don't have to worry about school. I don't have to worry about friends. I mean, she's quite happy playing with her toys.
Yeah.
Um, at the same time, I've also gotten to appreciate what staying home does for the family and for her. My wife points it out all the time, like the amount of time that we spend with her because we're at home every day now,
Mm.
and she's with us pretty much all day.
Oh.
Mm.
This is not something that would have been possible on regular days.
True.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But for now, I'm looking at it as a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing
Mm.
because when she grows up, those are the things she'll cherish most. Then
Yeah. Yeah.
when they grow up,
Yeah.
they tend to
That's if
Formative
she
years.
remembers any of this.
yeah.
That's
She
if
might
she
Share
not
the
remember
remembers
memories
this
then.
years from now.
specifically. She'll
Sorry.
remember the feeling. She might not remember it
Yeah.
specifically, but she'll remember the
Oh,
feeling.
Mm.
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's nice. But yeah, I mean, I guess the silver lining here is that we're able to spend so much time with her, and I hope that benefits her in a good way.
Mm.
At the same time, she is now complaining when one of us has to leave the house.
Mm.
So I guess in a way that's the negative.
Yeah.
Whenever one of us
Treasure
has
that.
to, whenever one of us
Treasure
has
that.
to go for a grocery run or something, suddenly she's like, "Oh, why can't we all be together anymore?"
Mm.
Because she's so used to
Oh.
all of
But
us
you know,
being together
I think
now.
it's I think it's just a good thing. You know, like that connectivity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it makes the best of families.
I guess. I
But
guess. Well,
there's a point
I'm
there,
new to all
which is
this.
will that no, but you do have a you're smart to question it, Chris, because uh, how are these kids going to be when they go out into the world
Yeah.
if they've never been out in the
Mm.
world?
That's what
That's a
I'm
very
That's true.
good
curious.
That's
point.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
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 I hope it doesn't reach that point though. Like, to be honest, I hope it doesn't reach that. Like, I hope by next year things can slowly go back to normal. Because for me, it's all for the kids. It's all for the kids.
Mm.
And speaking of
What about you,
kids,
Nick?
no, I was speaking of kids. Paulo, like, how have you been? Like, what have you learned through this season? Like, approach now that we're at season 2.
He learned about coffee.
Yeah. Nah. Um, a lot of mixed feelings. A lot of learnings, of course. I've learned to really prioritize the most important things in my life. So a lot of the extra stuff, like going out or I've learned to like nurture the most important relationships, the ones I most value. So that's family, the closest friends, and I used to go out a lot, like before the pandemic, especially when we were in the office.
Oh
After work, I would
yeah,
go out a lot. But
definitely.
uh, uh, I've learned like it was a bit hard at first, like last year, around like March to April. But I learned to appreciate being at home, like waking up early to have coffee before work, especially like having coffee before like our recordings, like this one, because
Yeah.
it helps me like get in the mood. I try to wake up like maybe around 2 hours before the recording, so I have coffee. I check like NBA, you know. It's also been hard because uh, like uh, there's still some. Well, yeah, it's hard because I had to move back to
Yeah, yeah, you had a
to
lot of
family's
changes.
house.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
had a lot of
back
changes.
then, before the pandemic, I was staying in Makati near the office. So I
Yeah,
was just living like with my tita and my tita, and then I had to move back to QC. So it was a sudden change, but it took a while. But I'm happy where I am now. Uh, uh, and like lately, like with my friends, like we haven't been able to hang out, but we started like doing a podcast. Uh,
ooh,
yeah,
plug-in, shameless
yeah.
plug-in.
No, yeah, we did. It's like so it's something that we've always wanted to do, like from years ago. But I finally were able to do it. It's pretty like casual and fun, stuff like that. Uh, then of course, like we've lost like some friends or like family throughout
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this time.
Mm.
It's a bit uh, sudden because I've never like before this pandemic. I've never really like lost a family member like I remember because the last time like someone like from my family like passed away, I was really young, so I don't remember. So it was like a first time experience for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like a lot of silver linings. Like I learned to appreciate like being at home and working at home. A lot of adjustments, but uh, yeah, like overall, I'm still thankful.
Nick's your turn.
Well, I guess this is where like I'll like what we said a while ago at the start. This is where G really for me was, at least for me, it was like the cornerstone of like what I am now, because when this whole pandemic thing happened, prior to that, I'll be out all the time, like out on shoots, out for work. Like I was barely at home or even barely in the office. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoop, you're stuck. But like G showed me that you can like be creative. You can still work confined on, the four walls. So that's where I started getting creative. But I remember like I came out with a series on like how to disinfect the car, how to clean the car. Like the silver lining in all this is it allows you room to be more creative because you have like more free time. And uh, because of that, like I also got creative in like when this whole thing happened, I decided to lose weight. So I got creative in like I read more, I studied more, and I got more creative. And and also because like there was like that pause in time, it also made me value on how we're each other's mirrors. Because I can't see myself, but like other but especially with family, like they see you, so they check up on you, and the importance of you checking up on them. And now more than ever with this pandemic, the importance, and here at work, like Carl promotes that before you can check anyone else, you have to check yourself first as best as you can. And then like, okay, now that I am sure that I'm okay, at least for me, I check on others. And then when you have that small community of making sure everyone's okay, that at least in your circle, everyone's fine. Everyone's okay. And that's how we came up with this Karskashi concept. We wanted to check out on you, the viewer. So if you reach this far, I first want to say thank you for watching this far. And if you feel like talking to any of us, you can message us on Facebook. You can put a comment down below if you want to share your experiences. Because I know it's like an old saying, but sharing is caring. So don't be afraid to share how you feel.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's a
Definitely.
very next line. I love it.
Yeah, na.
Communication is the
Yeah,
key.
Oh,
communication.
one of the
Communication's key.
silver, one of the silver linings of the past year, like work wise, is that I never thought that I would do video. I always told
Yeah.
Francis, I'm like, he always tells me,
Waiting
so
for
when are you gonna present?
Chris.
When are you gonna
Waiting
present?
for
we've
I'm
Chris.
like, never,
we've all been pushed into
never.
roles that we never thought we'd have to do.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yep. So like, in terms of work, that I think it's a really great like takeaway, uh, especially when it comes to digital, especially since like C has always been known. I mean, I've known C ever since I was in high school. I, I I guess I can talk about how I learned about C.
You
It was
know.
back in I think 2000, around 2008. I would have my hair cut in a barber shop in front of my school in
Oh
Katipunan, and
my!
then I
I
would
think.
wait,
Oh man, that's the
and then I
typical
would wait,
story.
and then there's always the two magazines, C and the other one,
The other
and I
one,
would go
yeah.
back and
The
forth
other one.
each time I visit. So I would read one before the haircut and the other during the haircut. And yeah, I remember at least one editor. I'm sure, probably Sir Kevin. Yeah, yeah, I sure, yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
well,
Yeah. So I remember like one thing I noticed was like, ooh, oh no, this one's really thick. And then like for C, and then I used to like read the buyer's guide at the back. I really enjoyed that,
Chris, that's
like
you.
comparing the prices. And I learned when I joined C, it was Chris who was doing that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I met the guy behind it.
And
So yeah, that
well,
was really cool.
yeah.
Me, it was a budget car and driver because at the time, parang there was a point where all of a sudden magazines
Oh,
skyrocketed
true.
in price.
True, true. Yeah.
Except C Magazine. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay $800 for car and driver.
That's true. I mean, from a guy who used to read Car and Driver back then,
Yeah.
that's why I bought C because it well, not to demean it, but the localized Car and Driver. So there.
Yeah. Same, same. And when I remember my first issue, it was I think it was a BMW on the cover. But then like the content inside was, and I was like first year college, and the content inside was like just as good. Like I felt informed, like as a person who was really interested in cars, because it was like something I could afford. Man, $800 for a magazine.
Yeah, it's too much. But yeah, I mean, I guess what Paulo's trying to say is that because of this pandemic, we sort of up the game in terms of digital presence of C. At least we're
Yeah,
trying. We're
yeah.
trying. So there.
We wouldn't be
That's
here without our viewers, without our readers. So I
true.
really
Yeah.
want to say thank you to, like, especially if you
Yes,
reach this part of the
definitely.
video.
Definitely.
Just want to say thank you to everybody for like the opportunity to still be working.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that people don't really realize when because I predate all of these guys in C, and it was a flyer for us. We were just, we were ready to fail. We just wanted to do what we wanted to do, the way we wanted to do it. We were told we were wrong. We were told we were whatever. We did it. That's just the way it is. So a lot of it over the last almost
20
20 years
years.
now.
Yeah.
What we've wanted to do was actually, our dreams come true. We've tried to support everyone that's had one in a lot of ways, in whatever way we can. But anyway, this is just our way of talking to you guys, and the conversation doesn't stop here.
Yeah,
We are ramping up a lot of our presence, including Cars Casually specifically, and the back and forth thing we do on the video. We're ramping those up, uh, and we want to have more direct communication with you. We're also on Clubhouse, by the way, if anyone's into that yet, although that's more for Caliber. But talk to us. Let us know, because one of the things we have found is that getting a chance to focus on your hobbies and your interests is a very, very good thing right now. It lets you connect with people. And the one thing we have found over this pandemic is that there are actually more people connecting to us than there were before. Before, it would be the car guys or the sports car club or the race car drivers or the industry. But we're getting touch points now from all over, and whereas before we thought we were this one group, it turns out we're not. It turns out apparently we were very good at talking to women about cars. And I think that's Paolo's fault. But no,
yeah,
apparently it's just what they like about Paolo is that when they watch him, it feels like they're sitting in the car listening to their friends talk about cars, right?
yep,
So who would have thought that, right? But anyway, so get in touch with us. We're going to
yeah,
wrap up now, but we want to tell everyone that connect with people, connect with anyone. We are always happy when someone taps us on the shoulder and says hi.
yeah,
And that can be virtual now, obviously, but
Yes.
we are.
yeah.
And at the
Even in the
very,
comment
very core of
section.
this, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
at the very core of this, we're car guys who got a great job, and we want to talk about it. And we want to share that because it's just fun to see it. You're the reflection of us, right? So
Yep, we're
thank you very, very much. Thank you to everybody here and everyone behind the scenes who has kept us going in a very hard, challenging time. We've grown, we've expanded, and thank you. And thank you to everyone who watches us, who reads us, who listens to us. This has been Nix. This has been Chris. This has been Francis. This has been G. This has been Paolo. I'm Carl. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe, stay kind, talk to people, check people out. And what we always tell people, by the way, check yourself, check those below you, check those above you. That's the way to go. Thank you very, very much, everyone.
All
Bye bye.
right.
See you,
Stay safe.
everybody.